thrilled to have you here as we kick off this exciting journey. Whether you're just starting out or already in deep of AI, this platform is for all of us to learn, grow, and explore together. Today, we have a wonderful woman who is here to share her experience and knowledge on AI. She is Sudha, a seasoned digital business architect and a pioneering voice in responsible AI adoption. With nearly 3 decades of experience spanning IT consultancy, higher education, public sector reform, and enterprise transformation, she is a powerhouse behind Civica AI Limited, an innovation led company helping organizations and experts navigate AI era in clarity, integrity, and purpose. She's also a creator of AI Agents in a Box, uh, a productionized suite of AI powered agents that automate business tasks. And she's also an architect of awesome and freedom frameworks, which helps us for building scalable, freedom first digital businesses using AI. Her latest innovation, AI Compass, helps leaders navigate complex AI maturity journeys with human centric lens. Sudha speaks passionately on the intersection of AI adoption, AI governance, and digital enablement, blending technical expertise with inclusive leadership and strategic foresight. She empowers broad institutions and entrepreneurs alike to reimagine operations, policy, and decisions, not just with AI tools, but with AI thinking. From enabling AI policy readiness in universities to equipping solopreneurs with automation workflows, Sudha's mission is simple but profound. Make AI make sense for people, for progress, and for good. Just a quick note before we begin. We all have time for the questions at the end of the session, so please hold on to your questions and drop them in the chat as we go, and we will address them all during the Q&A at the end. So without further ado, let's hand it over. Welcome, Sudhamani, and thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Thank you so much. So yes, here the
Oh, thank you.
dice is
Thanks, Shri. I am so grateful to be here and presenting on AI Horizon. It's tech has always been a passion, and now AI is part of tech. Some for some strange reason, people start thinking that it's separate entity. But let's go and run with everyone's aspect of it as well. Good morning, everyone. This is You're in the Right podcast or the live event on LinkedIn. Yes, we are going to talk about use cases, but I've got name or title for this presentation, which is From Promise to Power, where we will be looking at how AI has evolved since 2016, 2017. That's when it became mainstream and people started talking about in a sense from the fear as well, and also from unknown. People always have fear of unknown. AI is still an unknown, even to technologists. It is unknown because it's evolving in such a speed that we all think, "Oh my God, how am I going to get to this? Get a grip of this?" So it says that I'm an old horse, as they say. They've given an old dog a new trick with AI. So I love it in a sense because my grandma used to say, I wanted Mercedes Benz. I watched James Bond movie at that time. Mercedes Benz was one of the cars. I was living in India. I moved to UK back in 2000. So this was in 90s, I think. I was telling her, I want Ava, we call her, is my grandma. So I want this. And she asked, she was such a blessed soul, such a genuine human being. She was like, well, she didn't know about anything about cars. She let me talk, and she said, it is no good in having a fastest horse if you don't know how to point, because at that time I didn't know how to drive either. So it was her way of saying you need to learn, you need to point in the right direction. It came to my mind in such a way that we think AI as a fast horse, or at least I think that AI is a fastest horse we have. If we don't know how to point it, or if we are not pointing it in the right direction, it's going to go gallop over and do its own thing. And it'll take us to a forest where we don't know where we are. And we will be thinking, what the heck? Where did I come here for? So that is what we are. That's the myth I am, or at least in this journey, in next 40 minutes or so, we will be looking at how we are going to make AI work for us rather than the other way around. So the master should be the master, not let the dog be the master. So I'm not demeaning AI in any way or form. I love AI. So that's what we are going to see. Let me give you, let me invite you to think, what is the difference between a success and chaos? Is it technology, or is it how we see it? Is it our lens in seeing it? So if you could keep that in mind and think about it from the perspective of AI is a tool, how we are going to master it is where our skills lie in. So today's journey, we are going to cover this. What's generative AI and agentic AI? Why I'm sorry if I'm teaching some of you how to suck eggs, but let's go from that. Let's start from that perspective and then go on, so you will know what it is, and then why agentic AI could be a regulatory headache. Because my background is in IT governance and also AI governance, so you would know why I say that. And 4S productivity stack, which I use with AI leaders who are adopting AI, and also 3 fusion points of like how AI is connecting to these 3 sectors, which we are going to talk about: retail, finance, and public sector. And then we would see the convergence of all the fusion points. And then we will see one use case for each sector. And I'll introduce you to the AI compass if you want to go with it. And how it all fits together. We need to know, like it's good to learn about all of this in a disjointed way. How do we put that together in such a way that it makes sense? And then we will look at how to pick a right use case, or at least if you're not a leader or decision maker, how do you persuade a leader or a decision maker to pick the right use case? So you would be the leader and trailblazer in doing that. And how to do the human first. You may notice, why did I not say people first? Human first is, well, I'll explain it to you shortly. People first is about putting people before technology or any other capital or any other aspects of business. Human first is about putting people's dignity first, because AI is such a powerful tool and we think that it will replace us. So we need to put their fears, their emotions, and other things first before we put people. So that's the element why I chose that phrase. That's out of the way. And cost and ROI. What is the cost it's going to incur? And how do we find the return on the investment? And then call to action with any other presentation. So let's move to the second, the next slide. So what are the 2 flavors of AI? As I said, Gen AI, which is many people are quite into it. It summarizes drafts. It takes prompts or command from you, which we call as prompt, and then it creates images and all of that in a generic platform. It's got its own way of being a child of like when you're teaching a child, many of you may have children or nieces or nephews. If you're teaching them, they go into their own mode of doing things, and they think that's the best. So, and then we guide them. That's what AI. That's Gen AI, which we are. The agentic AI, which many people are saying, oh, we need to create agents, we need to do this. They do create agents, nothing wrong in it. But because it's got intelligence in it, and also we've got other NLP and ML and all of that, it is really like an over enthusiastic intern. You could not let intern go and present your project to the budget holder, right? So that's what agentic AI. That's the very simple explanation of it. It acts autonomously, which is powerful, but it's risky as well. You may agree with this on this aspect of it. So, what is the headache which we incur is the headache is regulation. They will roast us. The company can go bust if we don't know how to explain why we arrived where we arrived, what is our path, and what's gone wrong or what's gone right. So there is no accountability. The accountability is so unclear that you would be thinking, oh my God, how did I get here? So you won't be able to explain. In old days, or I say old days, but when tech was like we were automating systems, at least we know where to put the brake and see where everything is hooking up. However, in AI, we don't have the points where we can put the brake because we are not in the process. So it is really, really hard because it's learning itself. It doesn't discriminate from good learning or bad learning. How we are impairing our rules, business rules. Sometimes business rules are so complex and yet simple. So how we are impairing those business rules, it could become a nightmare for us to see the accountability. And then scope creep. We talk about scope creep as a villain in many of the projects. It will, because it's self-learning, it will create its own scope. So it is so really dangerous sometimes because we don't have handle of it. That's why I say that no, AI is not going to take your job. Yes, it will evolve. The skill set you may have right now may become redundant. You won't become redundant. The skill set you have now may become redundant. So it is your responsibility to upskill yourself. Don't wait for your company to upskill you. You upskill yourself so that you understand where you're going. So you lead your career as you want it to be. And don't complain that it's AI's fault. It's not AI's fault. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. This is where I created this. There's so many capabilities. Okay, don't get me wrong. Gen AI itself has got so many capabilities. And then it explored, it transposes itself to the agentic AI, right? So what these 4S productivity stack is a 4 simple capabilities we are taking. I call it simple, but it's very sophisticated as well. I don't remember who this person is. They said, I think it's Pete someone. He said, simple is sophistication. Yes, sometimes we make our life so complicated. We forget that it's opposite of sophistication. If you keep it simple, you can build on it. You can scale so easily with the right foundation. So these 4S, which is a summarization, which reduces the overload, I'll tell you why I picked this one as well. Synthesis, it connects the dots. As a strategist, I love being synthesized solutions. And sentiment, people think that AI doesn't have emotion to it, but it is wrong and it is right as well. It's wrong in the sense, by the way you say certain words, it will automatically know the tone. Oh, I like to I see where this is coming from. That means that person is a visual person. If someone says, I hear you, well, I hear what you're saying, I understand. That means that person is auditory. It's like, oh, I feel it. That means that person is a kinesthetic person. So there are words which we use in English language which connects to certain emotion. So it does synthesize or sentimentalize that reading the room, as I say. And then the last one is simulation. This is the powerful yet simple capability of Gen AI, which every organization who is adopting it should use it. It doesn't matter if it's a one-man business or one-woman business. It doesn't matter if they are an IPO and they are the Fortune 500 company. It doesn't matter. They should be using this as part of making a factual decision, not irrational decision. Many people think, oh, the leaders are going to make the rational decisions. Most of them are irrational. Most of them are like, oh, that's my gut feeling. If we could add that gut feeling to the emotion or the fact, that emotion to the fact, it becomes so powerful. That's where AI can help you in a way that if you use these 4 simple capabilities, don't go in detail of other things. Let's just, as I said, let's keep it simple. So the next one is, hopefully you've understood. If you've got any questions, please put in the chat. We'll tackle it at the end. The very first one, I call it, is the fusion between a customer experience and AI. How this is all worked. Okay, they've used these 2 capabilities: sentimental capability, sentiment capability. I don't know why I'm adding "al" to it, but anyway, sentiment and summarization. Okay, these are the 2 capabilities which are in more focus in this use case, which I will touch with it now, and then we will go in detail. This is a retail business. Carrefour. If there are anyone French speaking, please forgive my butchering of this word, the name. It's a retail chain in France, and they've got millions of customers. And they had a very good working system. They wanted to make people feel equal. Sometimes we don't. When you're in a different segmentation, we kind of put them in a box, and people don't like to be put in a box. I don't. I don't know about you. I don't like to be put in a box or stuck a label on it. But however, when I go, I want personalization experience. So that is not putting a label, but the person. But in the past, we did that personalization, put the label to a certain person. Okay, this person will spend £0 to £50 to get something. So what they use this use case, this AI system which they implemented, they used to summarize the customer's wants, what they've used. It's many, Amazon does it, many retail, online retail who've got a bit of money left on them, they do that as well, but they don't do it as good. They segment, they don't personalize, and what they do is that they segment and they display the results which you would use. That's fine, but sometimes I would, if it's my spouse, or if it's my nephew or niece, don't mind going £100, £200 on the gift. So they personalized it. They asked these questions and summarized the wants of this individual and displayed the right products for them to buy. So that made it even more personal, if you know what I mean. This person knows. Many of us, we know, oh, that's AI. We can be very pessimistic and sarcastic and say, oh, that's AI. But there are many things which goes behind this decisions. So that's where AI and customer experience come into play, and it becomes, they know me, they know what I want. Because you end up, I don't know about you, but I go online, I go for certain thing, and then I buy everything else but that, because I found other things which are very, but I don't have enough money after that to buy what I wanted to buy. So the personalization like this is like, you go, you buy what you want first, and then start exploring on other things. So that saves money in your pocket as well. So that was really good for them. Unfortunately, this is a pilot program. I don't know whether they're doing it in full on. I really wish that they would, but there are blockages as well, if the data and other things which needs to be in place. So now let's go to the next element of it. So the next one is how it is done in public sector. In public sector, they are into equity. They will be skewed by general public and media and everyone else if they don't take, if they just willy-nilly apply AI in their operations, because it's really dangerous, because they do have regulations, but they have got many other people to account to. So what the lot of House of Lords, UK House of Lords, they did is, there was a recent one. They realized that they can make decisions based on this. The ones which they have used is simulation. This is where I feel public sector and higher education can make this particular capability, simulation capability. When they use it in their systems, it can really skyrocket the budget and also skyrocket the delivery of their services. Very good. The synthesis, what it does is it connects all the dots, because public sector has got many silo systems which is trying to connect really hard. And they also have got to find a collective decision or simulation to find out, considering all of this, how can we take a decision to serve our public citizens, or serve the general public, or serve our stakeholders. So this is, as I said, 4S is like, it's in play. And I'll give you, please do connect with Siri or with me on LinkedIn. So I can, once my website goes live, I can share the blog items where I've got 15 or 10, 15 use cases tabulated as well. So please do let me know on that one. So that's what is so powerful when it comes to taking these capabilities and working this out. These capabilities, I don't know whether I mentioned it. I don't think I mentioned this. These 4 capabilities are easy in as well when it comes to the governance and people resistance. They don't resist to these, because these are boring jobs, like curating all the information and collecting it and synthesizing it and coming up with a decision in 1 hour is really, even for a superhuman, it is impossible. So we can use AI to do that. That makes these people's lives a lot easier. So they there is an easy in to make people understand, not fear the technology, not fear the automation. So it is easy in, so we can start building from that point. I'm not like saying, oh, you cheat them. It's easier to make other people life easier. That's really hard sometimes. So this one is I call it with finance. I'm using HSBC and as an example. In HSBC, they use this for fraud detection. Okay, so it is hard for these regulators, especially finance. If you are in finance, FCA has got the sandbox opportunity, which you can apply for it, for the funding, and you build any of your AI systems in their sandbox. Okay, so that means you're almost, when you're coming out and implementing it, you're almost got their stamp, FCA stamp. Like they're not going to come at you, because you know what the regulators are looking for. You're working in conjunction with them and every step of the way, so that AI governance nightmare is reduced. So please do take up on that opportunity. If you want more information on that, let me know. I'll send you the details. I might not be able to cover it here. So that's one of the things which they did. They worked the system. I don't think they worked in the sandbox. But that's out with. But they worked with this condenser. I think they used all the 4S. The summarization, synthesization, sentiment, and also simulation to detect the fraud. Like, one of the best thing which AI can do is pattern recognition, right? That's synthesis. So that's one thing which they really excelled in, and reduced 30% of false positives. Someone, when I was explaining this to one of my friend who is in the IT or decision maker, I was presenting one of the solutions. He said it's only 30%. But what you don't understand is 30% is better than nothing. As the system grows and knows more about you, and you put all the details in, you will understand how powerful this is. So let me go to the other one, the convergence. The convergence is where everything is work. You can use all of this decision intelligence and customer experience, and also sentimental, synthesization, summarization, all of these 4S, and create an automation in your organization. You can find use cases which can do this for your organizations. So this is the real time. You're not waiting for it to happen. You've already done that. You've built it in the system. So it is easier for the advisor, financial advisor, or anyone else who is working with this person to provide solution and provide the right products for them. So please do think about how you're going to integrate. You don't have to use my productivity stack, but think about that, how you can do this. So let's go into the use case. What the benefits which they found is they could detect fraud faster. The compliance is always, these are the problem. The fraud detection is slow, and the compliance is slow, and trust is very fragile when it comes to finance, unfortunately. So these are things which they thought about it, and these are the nightmares which finance sector or insurance sector, any insurance sectors have got problem with. They used this and detected sentiments a lot sooner. they detected, they synthesized the transactions. They simulated the solutions if person has to. In old way, or what happens currently in majority of financial organization is they've got to do manual analysts and curators. They've got to do manual of all of this in. So 30% fewer alarms, false alarms is unbelievable. They can. So that'll make people's life a lot easier, especially analysts' life. So this is my interpretation of going forward. What they can do is they can align it with the governance. As I said, if you're working with FCA sandbox opportunity and insights where they've got, you're already playing with it to start with, and they can use the synthetic data. This is again another capability of AI, which I've not explained it in which I don't use that much in the productivity stack, because we always do synthesize the data, as in take all the personal information and use the core information, or replace it with dummy data, and then embed explainability. The reason explainability is more important is because of you got regulations. So that is what you have to do. It's not that much in retail. You don't see the explainability in retail that much, but I wish they should. If they get into hot waters, they know what they've got it. But in finance, it's a big red flag if you can't explain certain things. Regulators will shut you up even before you open your mouth. So in retail sector, what they Carrefour did is the no two homepages are alike. So homepage Siri would get and I would get is different because our requirements are different. Our categorizations are different. So that is what the results of it. And then they used sentiment and detected the mood of someone shopping for urgent need or just browsing for what they can get for the Christmas or what they can get for the birthday next year. So they can understand that sentiment in law. So this has improved their sales and reduced the frustration, not only for the buyers, but also for them, for the staff. So the returns were reduced as well. Like returns policy was really they were winning, win. That's a very good sound for any organizations to do. So in this, my advice would be for anyone whom I am in retail sector doing, I would use the ethical element of AI, because sometimes you get so enthusiastic and you start introducing things which are for your benefit, not for the other person's benefit. So that's more important, because that happens in retail sector all the time, because it's a capital based business, right? So not that much of regulation. Yes, there are regulations, but not unless otherwise someone really raises it. There's not that much of oversee like FCA or like in finance or in public sector. So you've got to be really careful of what you're using it, how you're using it, not to take advantage of them, but make it win-win for both. Yes, as a business, you do need to make money, but at the same time, you cannot make money at the expense of someone else's financial situation. So that's one thing which I would really encourage all the retail leaders or retail sector leaders. In public sector, as I said, they've used sentimentation and simulation as well. in large proportion. And it's more trust. So if a citizen asks, how did you make this decision? They know where they arrived or how they arrived for that decision, rather than say, oh, a consultant mentioned this to us, so we've taken this decision. Most of the time that's what happens. Oh, we hired this consultancy, they came up with this survey results, and this is what the factual result is. But most of the time it's not. It's how you ask the questions. So they really can drive real value, build more trust in government agencies or public bodies. So these are the three use cases which I was looking at. And then, as I said, if you need more use cases for each of these sectors, I've created a blog for each one of the sectors, so you can get that information. And this is what I would say: validated with your stakeholders. What information which you got is really in for them, and also for the citizens as well. And as I said, equity, DEI programs are quite high in public sector. So inclusivity and accessibility and all those good things which just stays in a policy, but they don't have a right implementation guide. So use that so that it is implemented right in your systems as a public sector leader. So that means you are building these systems on the basis of trust. It doesn't matter which sector you are, retail, finance, or trust is one big sentiment that we all have to aspire to. And once we trust someone, we don't mind spending money. We don't mind working with them. We don't mind buying from them. So that's more important. This is why human first in my policies or in my strategy, human first, human first, human first. I might sound like a broken record, but that's the point. That is, put people first, put humanity first. So how can I assess? Is the Compass, AI Compass, is accessibility framework, which used with the 4 pillars: culture and change. This is the very first thing which we've got to. That's why 4S was born. 4S was born because these are the 4 capabilities which we can explain, which people can see the results a lot quicker. So they know how to get the buy-in. So you've got to see the culture and change. And then governance. Governance is more important. It's not just having the policies, because the governance policies which we have now in majority of organizations, even the organization who have been piloting actively, they use the old governance policy to adopt to AI. It's not going to work. I'm sorry to say this, but it's not. So go and change those phrases which you've used there in line with the AI, so that you have got a better guidance. You can put the right guardrails for AI, not go galloping wherever it feels like, just pointing it to the right direction. So it's about focusing and framing in such a way that you get the results. So these are the 4 ones: culture, governance, and risk, and talent. Upskilling your existing people, that builds trust as well. And also the operating model. What is the operating model? The current Tom will not work. Target operating model will not work with AI projects. Please don't be in that, delusion. Sorry to use this word, but that's what it is. We think that, oh, current operating model will work. No, it's not. Even the infrastructure might not work. So you've got to think about the tech and data infrastructure as well. So these are the 4 pillars of this Compass assessment. So you can do it in one pager, or you can go with full swing of 4 pages each, and do the full breadth and width of the breadth and width of the organization's policies. So you pick, it's in your hand. If you want to do one small thing, just do one pager. That's fine. You don't have to complicate it. As I said, simple is sophistication. So the next one is, how is it's all going to fit together? The first step is use the AI compass to get the assessment, to identify what the lay of the land is. Once you know what the lay of the land is, and you also will learn what are the policies you need to change, what is the culture we have, how can we make them accept things, because in public sector, union drives most of the changes, whereas in finance, regulators drive most of this. In retail, the customers drive most of the change. So understand that will give AI Compass will give that understanding of how this whole thing will work. Once you get the AI Compass, that's a very first step. The second one is build the forest step. So identify, do I need to use just summarization, or do I need to use synthesis? Do I need to use sentiment, or do I need to use the simulation? As I said, every use case which you would identify, if you use simulation as the very first one, even you can validate it before this use case as well. So please think about that in detail, of how do I make the validation. So that's step 2. And the step 3 is operational integration. So what are the audits? How can I be more compliant if someone is coming and auditing my projects? So you think about how can I integrate this, even from the start. You start. Don't do it in isolation. You would be doing the same mistake which tech did, and then taking that square peg and shoving it in, sorry about the language, planting it in a round peg, and thinking, why is this not working? It won't work. So these 3 steps will make your life easier. So where do I start? I would say, don't overthink it. Sometimes people do, okay, we've got this, we've got to solve the regulators, if you use AI Compass, or any assessment framework for that matter, use it right, you can find the visibility. So once you get that visibility of that use case, clarify what the business pain is. What the pain is? Staff bored doing the work, and their skill set is not used in the right way, or just, it could be anything. Is customers not happy with or is citizens not happy with the services which we deliver? And then you think about, what is the data we have for that particular pain? Where did we get that pain from? And what are the data sets which we will be using? Are they good? Are they in the right way? Do we need to clean it up in such a way? So think about that in a way. So always pick a use case where data is easily available and structured right, and providing it doesn't have any clutter in the win. And then you will automatically think about, what is a quick win? What do I get? How do I get into the door quicker? So pilot, many people do the pilot. It's so complicated, they don't know how to move it to the production, scale it to the production. So think about it from the backwards. I need to get this is the pain, I need to get it in 2 months time, 6 months time into production. So how do I work it backwards to achieve that? So once you've got that one worked out, now think about what the human. This is the change management principle anyway. Any project you do think about change. So you think, okay, who are the users whom I am going to be working with? How can I build the trust with transparency, that they don't feel that we, as a leader, as an implementer, hiding things from them. They know each and everything which are going good, bad, and ugly. They know it. So that gives them the trust. They would be your ambassadors when it goes live, or convincing other coworkers to adjust them. And then make it easy. For God's sake, don't complicate it. Make it easy for people to adopt tech or AI in this matter. So I'm going to run this through quite quickly. There are 3 buckets of cost and 3 buckets of benefit. And then that will give you a simple AI ROI formula. What are the 3 direct costs? 3 buckets of cost. Direct cost, indirect cost, and ongoing operational costs. These are the 3 buckets of the cost you need to identify. Direct cost could be your technology, your people, your external consultants, and all of that. Indirects are process redesign, your data preparation, your data cleanup work, and temporary slowdowns because you've recruited people who have got the knowledge into the AI project, but because of that, their day-to-day business as usual thing might not work. So that you need to take into account. That's indirect cost. Ongoing cost is the maintenance and support. I don't have time for the story, but quickly, I entered many apps fail because they have not taken this ongoing cost into account. They got the funding for 2 years or 3 years, and they've burnt all the funding, and they don't have maintenance and support for the rest. They could not secure funding. So it's a nightmare. So just think about ongoing cost. If you can't get any one of them right, don't do that project. Really, it's not worth it. Not just a star on your shoulders. It's not going to work. And the benefit, 3 benefits, as I said. One is it efficiency gain, or is it going to be a quality improvement, or a revenue impact? Is it cost savings, or efficiency, or quality? So these are the 3 buckets of benefits. Think about it from this perspective, because you can get buy-in in these 3 benefits a lot easier than any other benefits which you're thinking of. So the simple ROI formula, if you want to take it down, please do take it down. Net benefit, so the total benefit you're going to get is the total benefits of those 3, and then total cost negativity. Then how do you calculate ROI? ROI is calculated by net benefit, what you got from this formula. I'll post that one in the comment. Net benefit plus total costs, the 3 buckets of cost. So total cost multiplied by 100. Okay, that'll give you the percentage of return on investments. And time of investment, people will ask, but once you get the percentage, you can work out the time, like in 2 years, 3 years, in 2 months, 3 months. It doesn't matter. So you would be able to get budget holder understand the whole thing. Oh, okay, I can do it. And this projection is not just finger in the air projection. It's formula. It's done right. You can show the traceability of it. So that's how you would calculate the value of it. So now is the bit thing. We've covered quite a lot in this. I'm sorry if I've bombarded with you for the information. You're thinking, oh my God, this is information overload. Go to this live, listen to it again and again, and find out how you can integrate it, how you can use AI Compass to validate the readiness and validate your use cases, and also start working on your costs. So if you are a person, you're thinking, okay, I'm not the decision maker. I don't know if my manager gives me this, but you can be the leader. You can lead from the bottom up. That's what IT people always did. They did lead. We are all leaders, whether you like it or not, to be called as a leader, but we are all leaders. Mom is a leader, dad is a leader, uncle, aunt, everyone. As an employee, if you're an employee, you are a leader. If you're a leader, you're a leader as well. So you've got that in you. That's what is. It doesn't have to happen, but go back to your work or your work desks, and think about this. How can I do this? Even hypothetically, how do I make my life easier? How do I make my company's life easier? So that's all I've got for you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I went over uh, my 40 minutes. So that's me. Thanks, Shri.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about others, but I definitely am going to go through the webinar again and again because there is so much of information packed in this 1 hour, and which is really, really useful when you're trying to adopt or trying to start a new use case within the company. And what are the things that we are really need to be wary before we start the project, because we don't want to work on all the time and then get to know that, oh, I do not think about ongoing cost or the return of benefit or the time and effort that I'm putting as human resources. And then it all goes down to pilot start, pilot end, and no AI adoption. That is not what we want, because we want AI to be integrated within the company.
Oh,
So
I work with both. They say this. Oh, we've implemented AI. Okay, is it in production? No, we piloted.
no,
It's
yeah, because they did not think
waste
about all
of
the points
money.
that you have mentioned. One question that popped into my head when you were giving me all this loaded information was, what do you think about how important is test data when we create these solutions? Because when we use small amount of sample data, create the AI pilot and everything is working fine. But sometimes when we integrate that with real data, it's like we don't know why it is acting in the way it is and why is it giving the results. So what is your opinion on that?
So this is where a data architect will be a big use. So you always the test data should not be created in isolation with the production data. Take a copy of
Mhm.
production data, synthesize that production data in
Mhm.
such a way as in take out all the personal informations or GDPR non-compliant GDPR data out of
Mhm.
that and synthesize the data in such a way that you are working with production data. Doesn't matter if you're using, if in public sector there are quite a lot of silos, right? So if you're producing that silo data, you've got to simulate in such a way that it's all the data is collected, not just working with. Again, this is the very good question. This is the biggest problem because we take a small data, we'll try
Mhm.
to work, oh, it all works fine, and then when it goes with the production data, system fails because the infrastructure is not built in such a way that you can use it because it's large amount of data. Just imagine 1 gig of data. It's not 1 gig, but I'm using 1 gig of data, and the production data is about 100 gigs
Mhm.
of data. So it's like that 99 gigs. Where are you going to put? Like your infrastructure is not set in that way. So you've got to think from. That's why I said backwards. Work backwards. This is what I want. This is the size of the data I have. This is the size of the systems I have. These are the integration points I need to be working on. This is the business vein I'm working. So when you're calculating the cost, you're calculating the cost from that perspective. So you're
Mhm.
not calculating the cost for the pilot, you're calculating the cost of when I go scale it, this is what the cost is. So very
Yes.
first question that the holder will ask is, what happens after? pilot is successful.
Mm. Mm.
So if
Sure.
you're not working out from that perspective, it is really hard. As a techie, I'll tell you, as a techie, I'm only bothered about the pilot because I want to get the pilot working. As a
Exactly.
leader,
Yeah.
as a leader, because that's what I wanted to, even as a consultant, that's what I wanted to prove. I
Mm.
promised 30% reduction in your work, day-to-day work effort. Okay, that's what I'm promising the organization, but I am not thinking from the perspective like 30%. So I'm working on the small system and piloted. I got 50% of production. When it goes, it only produces 10% when it
Sure.
scales. What happens? Again, you cannot complain that a consultant has not worked there, but he showed the proof.
He worked in his area of expertise. You being the
It's
leader, you have to see the bigger
You've got to
picture.
think from the
Yeah.
perspective of like when it goes live, you can ask that question. Okay, that's all well and good, 50%. Brilliant. Is that going to scale to
Yes.
the production?
Yes.
And
Understood.
always,
Yeah.
I am, as a consultant, I know what my answer is. I cannot guarantee that.
Yeah.
That's my
And
answer.
also, and also in my previous organization, what we used to do is if there is a production solution, not AI, but any solution, we would have a development environment with the same integrations from source to the end. So that when we integrate it with the dummy data from the vendors, different Excel sheets, different formats of data, and integrate it, it is sure to fail at some point because we did not think about these use cases when we have developed in our own personal space. And then when we put all the integrations together and run it, it's like, okay, I did not think about this. So yeah, maybe running in, as you said, in a simulation of where it is actually, depicting the production setup would be much more helpful. So
Yeah,
another question.
I would disagree with the dummy data because I know dummy data is always used in data. I do come from database administration. Dummy data is that's why I specifically say synthesize data. You synthesize data from the production to the development so that you've got the mirror of the same thing, not so you can weed out all the negatives. Sorry.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. So before I wrap up the meeting, conscious of the time, another question that I have is because we are talking about especially the AI use cases, I think most of the companies that are having issues is yes, they love to integrate with AI, they want to go forward with AI, but I think most of them are struggling to identify that unique use cases, which they have to figure out to go to the production. How do you identify these use cases? I know you have given me a load of information, but if you want to give me a quick 2 lines or 3 lines, how would you,
Yeah, it's number one is do your assessment. Ask the people who are doing things, really ask them. The users are very vocal. If you've got a trust-based employee staff group, they
Mhm.
they do come up with the business pain. We are not able to work this out. I mean, they'll be there for hours and hours and explain why things are not working the way a consultant has given them promise that it will work. Pick up those points and ask them. This is why I say buy-in from the users is very, very, very important. That's a culture and change element of it. That's a very first pillar of AI Compass. You ask the people, what is the problem? How can we solve your nightmares?
Mhm.
Leader always asks, I want that 5 minutes before the meeting. I want that spreadsheet.
True.
Okay, can you not tell me about at least an hour before? It's always about 5 minutes before the meeting. It's no offense, but I've asked as well, so I cannot say that. So it's Ask them what is the problem, and then think about these four capabilities. How can you integrate that? Because those are the
Mhm.
ones those people are talking about, not replacing them, just making their nightmare go away.
Yes.
So very first thing
So,
is AI
yeah.
compass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sudha, for giving us loads and loads and loads of information. I'm pretty sure I should go back at least 2 to 3 times to get all that information. And anyways, if I still have questions, I know where to reach. So as
Yeah,
all the audience, we know you. So if you have any questions, we would definitely come to you. And as Sudha has promised, once the blogs are there, we would put in the links wherever needed. Just reach me out, or Sudha, if you have any questions, we would love to
yeah.
help you, as much and with everything that we have. So thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. So our next webinar will focus on agentic AI, especially how our e-learning resources or the platforms are changing with the help of agents. So we will be sharing more details soon. So stay tuned and follow us for the updates. Thank you so much, Sudha, for the fantastic session
Thank you.
and giving
Thanks
us
for
so
having
much
me.
time. Yeah, it's lovely that you have given us so much time and the knowledge for our growing AI Horizon community. So until next time, take care and keep exploring. Thank you all.
Bye.